Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's December 21st, 2015. The story dominating the mainstream headlines today is another nonsensical distraction story contrived by the numbers. It's the story of a woman supposedly driving onto a sidewalk multiple times in Las Vegas, killing one and injuring 37 more. If you can believe it, Truth Seeker, this story is a tribute to the winter solstice, which we'll get to. It's all about the winter solstice. It's another fake story. I'm fairly certain that no one was hurt, no one was injured, no one died. If I'm wrong about that, what it means is our government and our media are conspiring to also hurt people for their ritualistic coded stories. Let's begin by watching the mainstream coverage. Then we'll take this apart. I'll show you what this has to do with the winter solstice and more. I am 100% confident the person accused is not who is responsible. Here we go, Truth Seeker.
You were apparently across the street when this incident happened. Describe for us what you saw, what you heard.
Yeah, so I was at the light right in front of Planet Hollywood. There's a bar, Cabo Wabo, and I saw people on the ground. And at first, I thought they were street performers because I walked through there just the night before, and then I saw someone laying on the ground and security run over to them. So I was looking. Then I rolled down the window because I'm from Southern California, not too far from the San Bernardino, and that's the first thing that came to mind. So,
Notice how they get San Bernardino in there in this interview. San Bernardino. The point of these stories is propaganda and to reinforce propaganda. We just had a shooting hoax in San Bernardino, California. One where at first they said it wasn't terrorism, then they said it might be terrorism, then next thing you knew, it was sanctioned by ISIS. At first it was three athletic white males they were looking for, then by day's end, it was a Middle Eastern married couple. Now, with this story right now, they're saying they don't think it's terrorism, but they're not ruling it out. So don't kid yourself. The terrorism angle might still be days away.
I rolled down the window to see what I could hear, and there just started chaos. People started to scream and yell, and I saw the guys running down the street.
So just to be clear, were you in a car?
Yeah, I was actually I was on the side of the street where the car was driving. We were in the middle lane at a red light right before the Paris entrance that I think one of the other people I heard interviewed referenced.
And so let me ask you this. So you see people running around. Obviously, you also mentioned San Bernardino. That's obviously on your mind. I mean, just if you could just describe the scene. What
And why are any of these stories on anyone's mind? Because the mainstream media puts out the programming. That's why they call it programming.
There are lots of people on the ground. How quickly did it take for you to see, paramedics, police come on the scene? Just walk us through it as you realize something had happened.
Yeah, so when I first saw the person on the ground, I actually thought maybe there was a shoplifter or something. When I saw the security, jump on the first person, it's probably one of the first people she hit. Actually, now in retrospect, and then as I looked forward, I saw people. I never once saw the car, but I saw people laying on the ground. So I was starting to wonder what was happening. And I saw two or three men in black running northbound on Las Vegas Boulevard. So I thought they maybe were the perpetrators of whatever was happening.
Did you catch that? Men in black running up the boulevard who we thought were the perpetrators. That reminds of three athletic white men in black running out of San Bernardino. And Truth Seeker, the other point I want to make is that in recent videos I've connected the San Bernardino shooting hoax with the Paris, France terrorism hoax, both blamed on ISIS. Remember, in Paris, France, the terror attack lasted 222 minutes. San Bernardino, California equals 222, established in history on the 222nd day of the calendar. Now, this event in Vegas, where the news is reminding us of San Bernardino, happens in front of the Paris Las Vegas Hotel, which even has a fake Eiffel Tower. Remember, Gustave Eiffel, his full name having gematria of 222. No coincidence here, Truth Seeker. This is how they do it, by the numbers.
So then I yelled to the driver to get through the light, because I didn't know what else was happening. I didn't know who else was around. I knew that they'd probably start shutting down the street pretty soon, and I just want to get out of there because my family was in the car. We got through the light and then down the street, so I'm going the same direction this is all happening. And there's people laying all over the street in front of Paris. We go down further. There's people, like I said.
People laying all over the street in front of Paris. He says it there for us. See, these stories bring back in our minds thoughts from stories that are already a month and so behind us. They need to constantly remind us of the terrorism threat, even with a ridiculous stage story such as this. And look at all the police there. The police are who put on these hoaxes. They can shut down areas, keep out witnesses, and make people think something's going on when all that's really going on is a staged event for media propaganda. Our police are not here to protect us, they're here to maintain the order. Most people who know police officers know they're not very good people. They're people seeking power and authority and are often corrupt. You're listening to the voice of someone who was recently robbed by his local police department and jailed soon after.
Just scattered, just almost in a line down the street. People trying to call for help, waving people down. And then we got to 3 or 4 lights down the street, and then we start seeing police start coming the other direction. And
Absolutely
at that point,
terrifying.
we turned off the strip to get away from what was going on.
Yeah, no, totally terrifying. You're obviously still there in Vegas. I mean, what's the mood like now? I don't know if you're far away from the strip at this point.
I'm actually across the street. I'm actually staying at Paris, so I'm trying to wait for the chaos to die down a little bit. But the strip is closed down. There's police and first responders all over with it all roped off, and I'm sure just trying to make sense of what happened and gather as many facts as they can to put this together to determine if this was an accident or was intentional. But just given this was 2 or 3 blocks at least in Las Vegas, and with the number of people, I was finding it hard to believe that this was just a random accident.
So it didn't seem random to him.
We are going.
Okay, let's also take a moment and watch the police response bringing up terrorism, and then we'll break it down. I want to show you how this is all about the winter solstice and possibly a warning for their next terror hoax, which might very well be here in the United States. And this story might very well be a clue to.
I'd like to start off by filing 1 count of murder with the use of weapon.
Murder charges announced in the deadly hit and run on the Vegas Strip Sunday night. 1 person was killed and nearly 40 hurt when police say 24-year-old Lakeisha Holloway repeatedly drove her car through a crowd between Planet Hollywood and the Paris Resort and Casino. Police do not believe this is terrorism, but say it's too early in the investigation to rule anything out.
We're not 100% ruling out the possibility of terrorism.
This is exactly how the rhetoric began in San Bernardino. No evidence of terrorism, but they're not ruling it out.
The intentional act that occurred on the boulevard is going to be very hard for us to explain.
Police say they are having difficulty gathering information on the suspect, but believe she is from Oregon. Surveillance cameras from the area could provide clues as police try to determine what motive Holloway may have had for targeting the crowd.
The video obviously shows intention. We haven't determined to the exact fact what the motive was.
The district attorney is also considering multiple counts of attempted murder and charges of child abuse and neglect. Police say Holloway's 3-year-old daughter was in the back of the car during the hit and run, but was unharmed.
We believe that she had some disassociation with the father of her child. We don't know the exact recipient event that caused her to snap.
Holloway.
You see, Truth Seeker, they like to throw in all these crazy details for all the psychological impact it has on people. And again, here we go with no motive. There's no motive. But then they throw in that she has a 3-year-old in the car. And anyone who's a parent or has worked with children understands all that's wrong with this. Doing something highly abusive, highly destructive with a child in the car. They just do this to work people up.
They had been in Las Vegas for about a week, living out of her car, officials say. Witnesses describe a scene of chaos as the suspect hit pedestrians before she was arrested less than a mile from the site.
It looked like she wasn't even trying to stop the car. She had both of her hands on the wheel and was looking straight forward.
12 people are
That girl sure saw things clearly. I mean, it's not typically that easy to see right through a car. Nighttime, glare on the strip. They like to plant these people to give the fake witness accounts.
still hospitalized. Police say 3 are in critical condition.
Now, what's also interesting about this is that police are saying that the woman drove away from the scene, drove to a nearby casino where she parked her car, left her 3-year-old in the car, went up to a valet and told the valet what she had just done and asked for the valet to call 911. The police responded, arrested her without incident. Another bizarre wrinkle to this very, very sad and traumatic event here on the Las Vegas Strip.
Yeah, this story just doesn't make any sense, like all the manufactured media hoaxes. So let's go through everything that stands out. First of all, with regards to the number 38, the word death equals 38. I did a video in recent weeks talking about the death of John Lennon, Dimebag Darrell, who both died on the same date in history and both had the number 38 heavily coded into their deaths, as many other celebrities have. Las Vegas, Nevada is also where Tupac Shakur died on a date with 38 numerology. Shortly after, Notorious B.I.G. would die on a date with 38 numerology. And many more since. 38, number of death.